Hey, good morning. Welcome to another week of Move Sessions. Feels like a Monday today. I keep forgetting, I keep thinking it's Monday. Although I had an amazing day yesterday. I hope you guys did too for Family Day. Just, you know, sometimes when we have those holidays and they break our routine, like it feels like you get extra bonus time, right? Hey, good morning, buddy. I was going to come in and do my pull-ups before we got started today. And I didn't have time. But I did do them this morning. And you guys, I didn't turn the camera on. I just kind of what happens is I'll just pop in here and do a few. You know, if I bring the recycling in, I'll do a quick few, but try to video them each day for accountability. And I wasn't going to do them until later, and then I had to put some stuff in here, so I quickly pumped out a set. I got 6. I got my 6 today, and I didn't get it on camera. Like, seriously, I knew that was going to happen. I could feel when I started them, I thought, oh, they feel just a little better than usual today. And boom, I got, it was barely, technically if I was being graded on it, the 6th one, I didn't really get my chin up and over, but, you know, it was pretty close. I'm counting it as 6. I don't know if I'll be able to do it again for a couple days, but anyways, as we get started, say hi, let me know in the comments that you're joining me. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Remember, we start out with, a low, no impact first round. So if this is the pace and level that you're at, you can continue with the second and third round of warm up with this, oh my God, I can't talk today. Like so, like this, with low, no impact. I will be adding a hop. The idea of the warm up is we start from where we're starting at, right? Like you start from your what was I just doing? Was I just doing these? I don't know if I was just doing these. I was, wasn't I? No, was I doing these? Oh my gosh. Okay, well we're just gonna do these. We're gonna do these. Oh my gosh. Is it Monday? What is happening to my brain? I was talking and concentrating and trying to move at the same time. Okay, now we're gonna do these. If I did 2 rounds of the same thing, I'm sorry. Anyways, the point is we start, you start from where you're at, which is you're in a rested state as you're starting your workout, as you're starting your move session. And so we start there and we slowly bring things up. And that's kind of the goal. And if you need to slowly bring things up but keep them here versus us, we're going to go to here, or I'm going to go to here, that's totally cool. You need to just do the warm-up that your body needs today. And everything that we do in here today, I'm going to try to offer modifications because we're starting to change some of our moves up to be a little bit more complex, a little bit more what they call compound movements, where we are going to start linking together different movements into one exercise just to challenge the movement patterns, challenge the balance, challenge the muscles to work in conjunction with each other. Whereas, when you're a beginner, you tend to keep them to what's called, I can't think of what it's called. It's not compound. It's singular, but that's not the word. But anyway, it's the opposite of whatever not compound is. So if you think of a squat, you would do a squat. Whereas we're gonna do some squat curtsies today. Now you can still do these movements, but you can also simplify. I always want these move sessions to be accessible to beginners. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm adding a hop as we go into the second round to ramp that heart rate up a little bit more, get a little bit more blood flow to the muscles. But if you're just beginning, right, if you're brand new to working out, whether it's because you haven't worked out since you were 15 years old or ever, right, or whether it's you've been injured or you've been sick, you're just coming back, if you are not ready to add a hop, that is totally okay. to sound cliche, it's your journey, right? I'm on my path, I'm on my journey, you're on your journey, and we need to be humble and respectful enough of ourselves to embrace where we're at and work with where that is today. Now, if you're new to these move sessions, you know, you're coming in and joining me at a time when I've put the foundational work in over the last couple of years. Those of you who've been with me know that, because you know that my pants are falling down here. You know that in December I took a little hiatus from the gym to focus on a running goal that I was working on and struggling to sort of manage both. We have seasons in our life, right? And that's what I think is important to recognize is usually if you've stepped away from exercise or you've never plugged into exercise, and it's not part of your life, it's not part of who you are, it's because your focus is on other things. You can't succeed at everything all at the same time. So like maybe you've just had a baby, right? You've been pregnant, or you know, you've been raising children. Like we all have times, you know, my kids are, you know, I'm kind of on the, you know, approaching empty nest. I mean, my youngest is in grade 8, and my second youngest is in grade 11, and then my older two are, one's in college and one's graduated. So a few years ago, things were hectic. I mean, things were chaotic. Ironically, it wasn't when they were little. When they were little, I was able to squeeze exercise in a lot more effectively than when they were kind of in their throes of their teenage years. It fell to the bottom of the pile, you guys. Exercise, nutrition, my health, me, I fell to the bottom. We have phases in life, right? And we have, you know, there's times when we're really focused on ourselves. You know, think about before you were getting married, maybe, right? Where you were like focused on, you know, your wedding day is a year away and you're like, I'm gonna be in the best shape of my life. Or you have a trip or an adventure planned, right? Whatever. There may have been a time, or maybe this is the first time in your whole life that you've actually focused on yourself. This is your time, but don't negate when you were focused on other things and beat yourself up for where you're at with this area of your life when you were busy crushing being a mom, or being a career person, or being a wife, or taking care of, you know, your aging parents. Like, we have different focuses throughout our life. So if right now you're just trying to get in something and move your body, that's okay. I was there for probably 5 years, 6 years. You know, I feel like right now I'm entering a place again where I'm at the top again. You know, like my health, my nutrition, my exercise has moved to the top of the pile. Like there's nothing more important to me right now, other than my family, but they're a close second. I actually read something the other day, and I can't remember. I gotta go pull this quote back up, but I believe it was from Abraham Hicks, and it referred to the fact that, like, I gotta go find it. But basically it was like, you're doing the whole world a disservice if you don't look after you first. If you're not, like, we think that's selfish, right? Like, we think, we're so programmed to think taking care of me first makes me a bad person. But taking care of you is going to dictate how well you can do anything else in life. So if you don't take care of you first, and you know that sounds selfish and that feels wrong, ask yourself why, right? Like, why is that hard for me? Because guess what? You have only as much to give to everybody else, or you have a portion of what you give to yourself to give to everybody else. So the better you look after you and prioritize you, you know, the more effective. The other thing is you influence those around you with how well you look after yourself. So you influence your children by how well you look after yourself. You can look after your children or your husband or your parents or whoever better than you look after yourself, but what they see and what they absorb subconsciously is how you treat yourself, right? So you think you're being selfless by putting everyone above you, but what you're actually doing is training them to do all the things that you don't want them to do, right? Down the road, especially our children, you guys. You know, I can now see the results of my selfishness when I was younger, when I was raising them, when they were kids, and I was, you know, a mom raising 4 kids, and put my health always at the top. And I can see now, you know, I questioned it sometimes. It wasn't for them, I'll be honest. It wasn't because I was trying to be the best mom. It was because it was how I recognized I couldn't give anything that I didn't have. And so if I didn't take care of myself first, I could see the lack of energy, the lack of, you know, like bad mood. You know, I might have been going through the motions, but not. I recognized that if I was running, I was looking after myself, I had more to give them. But now I can see the power of that in how they treat themselves, how they value what they eat, how they value exercise and, you know, sports and everything else. So, okay, so we're going to start with the marches that we did last week. I am going to use a barbell. You guys, last week I used kettlebells, or you can use dumbbells. We're going to do both behind the head and in front of the head because they work different muscles. Okay, so we're doing 45 seconds today, sets. All right, so I'm going to grab the bar, and I should have pressed the thing first. There we go. Okay, so now we're doing marches. This isn't heavy enough. I'm going to add some weight to this for the next one. Now try not to rock back and forth. You want to shift your weight, but nice posture. This bar is so cold, you guys. I'm like wishing I brought in some gloves. You want a nice straight posture. I definitely prefer the barbell to the dumbbells. This is great for core, great for balance. You want to lift, pulling that core in. We're going to get a 10-second rest. I lied, we're getting a 15-second rest. But I'm going to bring the bar to the front and hold it. Just sucks that I'm holding it the whole time. Okay, so we're marching again. I know we usually start with step-ups. Might have to do those Thursday because I have a bunch of stuff I want to do today. So you'll notice you'll feel slightly different muscles each time, and you want to make sure you've got that nice balance. A little bit of weight to it. So where I was going with that was, you know, what I want to make abundantly clear to anybody joining me is we are all probably at different points in our story, let's call it, of ourselves, right? Okay, next up we're going to do squats with a curtsy. So again, I'm going to try it with the barbell. And you can use, you don't need to use a barbell, you can use a dumbbell, you can use anything, you can use a ball. Okay, ready? So we're going to do squat with a curtsy. So the thing that makes the dumbbell trickier is the balance component. So squat, curtsy. So that's one thing I want to remind. I feel like we all constantly need the reminder to stop comparing ourselves to other people. We tend to disregard, the areas of our life where we're doing well and focus on the areas where we're not, which is fine. Okay, so next up, we're doing, trying to remember. Oh, hang on. Okay, we're going to the side and to the side. If this is too advanced, you can go like this. This is an alternative. You can also do no weight. If you're beginning, I would recommend doing no weight, especially for this one. This one tends to really get our hips and butt, hamstrings and glutes, which butt and glutes are the same thing, so I just repeated myself, but anyway. Okay, we're going to our 747s. So again, you can use no weight for these if you're beginning. We got to do both sides. We're going to add a row for the advance. So let's get a couple in, get your balance. Okay, getting that balance first. Adding the knee up if you want. Keeping the chest open. Okay, so you don't want to drop. There's a tendency to want to drop those arms because you're holding the weights. Again, if you're brand new, don't use weights. You might want to use the wall and use it for balance. I repeat, I have only just been able to do these myself. So if you're new, don't expect to be able to do these. I was going to add a row. I decided to add the knee up instead. Ooh. So get a couple, get your balance first. If you're doing these without weights, you can have your arms out to the sides like this. Not with weights, you can't. I mean, maybe you can. I can't. But that'll help with your balance. And we're going to use the step next. Woo. For the next two, we're going to do raise, step over. We did these last week. I'm going to try the 20s. Try the 15s. Okay, so one foot is up, one foot is down, and we're doing like a deadlift. Squat. These, I'm going to say, were responsible for my sore hamstrings and butt last week for days and days and days. Again, you can do these with that hind foot on the floor. Okay, so it's going to look like this. This is another option. Okay, all right, so we're resting, we're going to do the other side. And whether you're doing them on the floor or whether you're doing them on the step, you don't need to have weights, okay? I am advancing some of our moves, and I don't want to lose you if you're a beginner. I want you to modify, and I want you to practice not comparing to other people and where they are, right? What's most important? And you guys, don't underestimate the power of the little things that you do every day. I know that I harp on this all the time, but I had a really great conversation with my 16-year-old yesterday. He had a baseball showcase. It was a much higher level showcase than the one he went to a couple weeks ago. A couple weeks ago he said to me, no, I can't go to that showcase. I don't belong with those people. There's a big pond for me. I don't belong there. And I was like, well, first of all, we never put ourselves into a small pond to make ourselves feel better, right? You become who you, oh yay, Leslie, you become who you hang around with, right? So, you know, I remember one of my mentors in business said, if you are the strongest leader in the room, you are in the wrong room. Like, you want to be the weakest in the room because you're going to absorb the people. You're going to, just by osmosis, become better by being around better people. Anyway, we had this talk about, you guys know, I've told you, he has been putting, like, if I could tell you, like, this kid has been putting in the work, like nobody's business, consistently since, I don't know, the fall. And you can see it all come together, but it's a whole bunch of little things that this kid's doing every single day. Like, I'll give you some examples. And it's funny because I thought he had grown to like doing these things, but he hasn't. He's just committed to doing the things. And I said, the differentiator in life is the people who do the things that other people won't do, right? When you're willing to do the things that other people won't do, you can set yourself apart. And if you consistently stick to those things, okay, so you're gonna grab your weights. Okay, back and marching. When you can consistently do the things that other people will not do, you're going to differentiate yourself. So that's what I've been seeing him do. He's in December, he did the core. He started the core challenge. No, push-ups, sorry, he was doing push-ups. So he does, I don't know how many push-ups a day now, he does a couple hundred. He does, so he's been doing that since December. Little thing, little, like takes him no time. He does his core every day. He's added pull-ups every day. His diet, he's constantly working on his diet and how he can improve that. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna bonk myself in the head. I'm not careful. Sleep. He goes to bed. Goes to bed at 9:30 every night. What 16-year-old goes to bed at 9:30 every night? Why? Well, because he gets up at 6:20 every morning. You know, and it's just all these little things that are seemingly insignificant, but boy, do they add up. And it works the same way for us, you guys. It's the little things. Now, I'm not saying you can't do the big things. Like these workouts would be a big thing, right? Yeah, they're great too. But what are you doing within your daily habits, those little things? What do those look like for you, right? And are they working against you or are they working for you? Because if they're working against you, then the big things that you're doing are really just mitigating the rest of your life. You're going to see probably some lackluster results. Okay, so next up is our squats with curtsies. I'm going to have to come forward for these because I'm going to run into my step. You're going to see lackluster. So it's kind of like I realized for myself even. Okay, so squat, curtsy. Squat. Now, if you're new, don't do the curtsy. The curtsy is an advanced move. It's going to challenge your knees and your hips. And you might not be ready for that, either your joints or your balance. I realized, you know, a lot of the little habits that I had within my diet were being mitigated by the other things I was doing. So in other words, and try to have your... Okay, so the side, in other words, they were almost putting me in more of a maintenance mode, right? Instead of getting me the results. So I think one thing that's changed mentally, and I may have shared this with you guys, but it occurred to me last week. I used to look at my workouts, my exercise, my training as the work that I put in to earn the good things in life, right? Like to earn the right to eat things that, you know, would normally not be the best choices. Okay, so, oh no, we have 747s first. And so 747s can look like this. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but what I realized it did was it created like a less than ideal relationship, both with the work that I was putting in and food being kind of a reward. So, you know, if I was to do a long, hard run, my mind would say, what do I get for that? what treat do I get to have? And it's literally like, it was such a subconscious, mental, what do you call it? Pathway. It's not what, I can't think of the word. Cause and effect, basically, right? Like, oh, I did a really hard workout, I'm exhausted. What do I get to treat myself with? And I think as I've gotten older, I've sort of shifted. Oh my God, it's like snowing or raining or something outside. I've shifted that mindset to when I'm at my worst, aka if I'm sick, if I'm fatigued and run down, if I'm stressed, my mind says, you're already in a kind of a deficit. You need to compensate by, you know, stepping up everything else that you have control over. So you have control over what you eat. You have control over, to some degree, your sleep, right? You have control over your drinking. You have control over stuff. Those things, you don't have control over your stress always, right? Like you don't. You can't control, you know, your environment, your circumstances sometimes. And so what can you control? Well, you can control what you're eating. You can control your lifestyle, right? But you can't control necessarily what life's handing you. And so control the controllables. But when typically what a lot of us do, and myself included for years, was if I'm stressed, if I'm worried, if I'm working hard, or even if things are going really well, you deserve treats. You deserve rewards. And I think with Best Me, what sort of shifted in my head was, in order to be able to manage the hard in life, whatever that is for you, you need to mitigate all the other stuff. So the other day I came home from my Friday run, which is just wicked, you guys. I mean, it just, like, it literally, it crushes me. I've been crushing it. You know, it's been going well, but I come home and I'm just exhausted. It's a really hard workout. Each week it's harder because I add one repeat. And it hit me, like normally I would be like, yay, Friday's pizza day. So I get to have pizza and fries and a drink tonight. And I haven't been doing that. I've been like coming home and eating my yummy foods and loving it even more, because I'm like, oh, I just destroyed my body and now I'm rebuilding it. And I'm not like trying to be like, oh, I'm so amazing. It happened organically, and I realized the shift that had happened And I realized, well, I didn't think of the word. It's a loop, a pattern loop, right? Do good, have bad, do good, have bad, do good, have bad. Well, what happens is maybe we stay like this, but instead I'm like, do good, restore and repair and recover. Do good, restore and repair and recover. And it's like, so now things are going up. And anyway, feedback loop, that's what I'm trying to say. It's a feedback loop. We train those feedback loops. Like, we create them ourselves. We can change them at any time. It's not easy. But, I read this. I'm reading these 2 books about alcohol right now. And there was one part of one book that talked about 5 perspectives on alcoholism, or what it means to be an alcoholic, and what does that mean, or how does it happen, kind of thing. And the one doctor or whatever, professional, proposed that there's nothing different about people who are like alcoholics. So people who are addiction, sorry, not alcoholism, which is addiction. We're all designed to be addicted to things. Like, we are by nature designed to be addicted. Because what addiction is simply recognizing a positive feedback loop, right? So I drink wine, I feel good. I eat cookies, they taste yummy. I want more, right? It's like, it only makes sense. Okay, so the next set, we're gonna start with the bar on the front, and then move it to the back, or your weights. Or did we start that? No, we started with it on the back, right? We're designed that way. We're designed to recognize positive outcomes and want more of them, right? Like, something that feels, tastes good, makes us happy. We see a great movie, we want to watch it again. We read a great book, I want to watch it again. We go out with a person that makes us happy, we want to spend more time with them. That's how we're designed, so it only makes sense. When I read that, I thought, I love that. There's no, it's not necessarily true, it's just a perspective or just a proposed idea, but, and then it made me think, like, we get to decide what we believe, right? Because our beliefs are just thoughts that we have over and over again. Like, they're just repeated thoughts. We get to choose what to believe, right? And so I thought, I don't actually care whether that's true or not. I want to believe that. And the reason I want to choose to believe that is the reason, or that is the explanation for addiction, is because then I have control. So I just have to design a new feedback loop. Is it easy? No. It's hard, but I had created a feedback loop of 8:30, it's wine time, right? And chips time. And, repeating that over and over again creates a craving, right? So it's like, you can almost taste it in your mind. You can put it down for a sec. Like, you can be completely absent-minded and just start to think, oh, I'd love a glass of wine right now. I never think, oh, I'd like a glass of wine right now in the morning. Like, never. Never do I get up in the morning and think, oh, I really like a glass of wine right now. No, it's the same time every day. Why? Because I've created that feedback loop. So it's interesting. Sunday was day 50, with the exception of my birthday. So it wasn't really day 50. I should probably just count from my birthday. But although I stopped drinking the day that we left from Florida, so probably the 23rd or the 24th. 24th maybe of December was the last time. Oh my God, feeling those, you guys. Was the last time I had a drink, but I had 2 glasses of wine on my birthday. Anyways, whatever it is. What I was going to share with you, because none of that's important, is on the other day I realized, well, for the last week, I've started to crave my tea at about 8 o'clock. 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm like, well, I start to think about my tea. So I thought, oh, victory. Because if you, like a month ago, couldn't have even imagined. Like, I had to consciously say, no, tea tonight. You know, but my body wasn't like, oh, I want tea. It was like, I want wine. But I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Like, some might think that that's super bleak, that we have control. We almost want there to be, I just mixed up the order, don't worry. We're gonna go back and do our 747s. Do you find, I mean, there's 5 explanations for addiction. So you can choose whichever one empowers you the most. That one spoke to me. And so that's the one I'm going to choose to believe and apply to my life, because any feedback loop that I've created in my life, I now know I can change. I created it, I can uncreate it. I'm not saying it's easy. It's most definitely not easy, because all of our habits are basically behaviors that we've created so that we don't have to think. Oh, I was going to say one more, but now that can be powerful or that can be damaging, depending if the habits we've created are working for us or against us. But the empowering part is, if you can one by one change each of those habits to habits throughout the day that move you towards your goal instead of away from your goal, your life is easy because your life is designed to move you in the right direction. Conversely, if you don't, right, if you never take the time and effort and take the consciousness to recognize and change those habits, life is always going to be hard, because you're always going to be feeling like you're treading water or swimming upstream, because you're always fighting your habits, if that makes sense. Like, so eating, as an example, if you can change your diet one by one, start with breakfast. Oh gosh, my legs are pooped. Start with breakfast. Honestly, anything that I do in the morning becomes gospel so fast. Like, that is I'm recognizing for me, that is the time when I'm most receptive to new habit patterns. You know, I did my pull-ups one day in the morning and it just stopped. Habits stick for me really easily in the morning. So my morning is now a string of things that I now do, 500 of my core in the morning. I'm behind today, I'm only at 4:25. Because my son wanted waffles for breakfast this morning. And I said no. Because my morning is very regimented, you guys. Like, it is every 15 minutes. I haven't done my yoga yet either. So I was making waffles. The second I started doing yoga in the morning, basically after this workout, things start to go downhill. But anything I can get in before the class sticks. So my water is the first thing. While I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, I do 200 core. I don't get my coffee, like I don't even make my coffee till that's done. Then I get a little bit of coffee, and then I do 200 more core. I do my reading. Now I do my pull-ups. Push-ups are in there. I'm back up to 100 or more push-ups, Betty. Now, of course, they're part of Push-ups are part of my core. So I do 1,000 core, but push-ups count as some of them. Okay, we have about 4 minutes. We're going to do a Tabata to finish. And we're going to do, I lied. I know what we're going to do. I wanted to do these. We're going to finish with these. I'm going to try them with no weights first. What I need is a smaller step. This step is just a little too high for me. Okay, we're gonna step up, down, lunge. Yeah, I can use a weight. What weight am I going to use? It's the awkwardness is holding the weight. Well, I'll try the 20. Well, balancing, because we don't want to fall. So we're going to move through this one slowly, but all right, let's go. So we're going to do 2 each side. So we're stepping up, knee up, down, back into a lunge. Up. Now again, do this without weights. It's snowing. I didn't think it was supposed to snow today. I thought it was supposed to snow Wednesday night into Thursday, like a wicked storm. Which is annoying because I run in the morning. And I need 1 more week before I leave. I leave next Wednesday. So my plan is to do class Tuesday, Wednesday next week. And then I'm going to have to figure out what I can do going forward. There will be no class Thursday because I will be traveling. Up. Now, beginners, you can just simply step up and step back down. And skip the knee lift and the lunge back. We're going to do 1 more per side. Yeah, I wanted to get easy this day. Happy we did. Whew. So I honestly think the road to success is wrapped up in those little habits. Your job is to be constantly doing like a self-audit. What needs to change next? So don't expect it all in a month, right? Remember, you're changing the state of stasis, which is homeostasis, which is your natural state of where you are right now. Most likely, wherever you are right now is a place that you've somewhat sustained for however long you have, right? Weight gain takes as much time as weight loss. We're just not watching it quite as closely. But, trust me, it's very validly true. What you're trying to do is create a new state of normal for yourself. That doesn't happen overnight. Your body needs time to adjust. Yes, it will happen fast for some people, and you'll be so jealous, and you'll think, why not me? But you don't know what they've been doing leading up to that point, right? What have I been doing leading up to the point where best me dropped 16 pounds, or Betty dropped 11 and looks like she should be doing obstacle course racing because she looks so fit, right? Like, Betty's going to be doing Spartan racing and Tough Mudder soon. But what has she been doing leading up to this point? She's been working at it for 2.5 years, right? And she's been doing all the things. So don't compare your chapter 20 to someone else's, or your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, so to speak. Just keep looking for what's my next thing. What's my next thing? Stay in your lane, right? Stay in your lane. Stop swerving all over the highway and wasting all the energy, right? And pissing people off. Anyways, all right, thank you guys. That was a good one, I feel good. See you all tomorrow. Have an awesome Tuesday.